Sarah, everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sarah. My hello pronouns are dear divine Lord speak. Welcome, elders, children, brothers and sisters. We are very privileged today to have a guest speaker with us to discuss the importance of Islam and the month of Ramadan that we are in now. Eid Traxler is a holistic health and wellness practitioner and life coach working in comprehensive alignment with the body, mind, heart, and soul. She aims to guide seekers of truth to their highest calling, a passion ignited by her journey through her life challenges and struggles in the maze of confusion and the need for healing and a higher purpose. Born into a Christian family as a curious youth and traveler at heart, Ida explored many paths, philosophies, and healing modalities, seeking the ultimate truth. Her quest led her to discover the enlightened path of Islam, finding in it the fulfillment of her spiritual yearnings. Her multifaceted knowledge and intersectional competency in matters of faith and spirituality have established her as a respected figure in interfaith dialogues, bridging the gaps between diverse spiritual communities. Ida will speak to us about the holistic elements and virtues of the blessed month of Ramadan, close to the hearts of Muslims across the globe, a time of union and purification, with a special invitation to all for a deeper discovery. And we now welcome Ida to come to speak with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Happy to be here. Is this good distance from the thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, any ideas what the salam means and where the root word comes from?
Peace.
Yes, peace. And it's very similar to the word Islam. Islam, salam, notice the similarity in the sound. So salam is actually the root word of Islam. And Islam, the word itself, any ideas what that means? Sorry? Any guesses? I'm gonna make this interactive, so it's just not just like me talking, okay? So, any ideas?
Practice of peace.
Partially, yes. So Islam itself, the term means submission, okay, total surrender. And so with the understanding of Islam meaning complete submission, to what? Yes. And what is the God in Arabic called? Allah, yes. Allah means the, La, source of all, the independent, infinite creator, the one that's beyond the time-space paradigm, the creator of the time and space. Because we know we can't have an infinite mess of dominoes, right? Of dependence. So the first point of dependence, it became necessarily submitted to the independent. That is the divine. Okay, and so that is the moment Islam began was the moment maybe the first point in time began. Because we know time is also one of the dominoes of creation. Because for time to be, there had to be something before. So this is where the distinction between the independent and the dependent come in. Okay? So the dependent might have been the time, and that is Islam. And when you take an Arabic word and you put the words mu, mu, in front of it, do you know what it happens to the word? It transforms the word into a doer, like a verb. So mu, Islam, what word would you get? Any idea? Yes, Muslim. Okay? So Muslim is the one who's in a state of submission. And in the Quran, Allah explains that the sun, the moon, the stars are all Muslim. They're all in a state of submission. So even our hearts beating, they're submitted to all the rest of the systems within our body, to the greater whole. Okay? We are not in charge of our hearts beating, they're automatically beating, connected to the genetic code, to the perfect ratio of the air we're breathing. All of this is Muslim. Okay? And now, Islam also means wholeness. And as you know, it comes from the root word salam now. How can we experience salam, peace and harmony, when we don't realize our role as part of the whole? Because we're all connected, we all have to coexist together in peace and harmony. But how do we do that? As these human beings that have been brought to this existence here, with something unique, unlike the sun, the moon, the stars, with a consciousness that allows us to be able to have free will, to choose to go in line with peace and harmony, or to go against it and do our own thing and try to be our own captains in this ship of life. And so when we try to be our own captains, we tend to ram into a lot of reefs and rocks on that journey, right? And holes are coming in the boat, and we get identified with all these other captains trying to be our captain and telling us what to do and how to live and be and etc., right? What better than to be on the ship where Allah, the creator, the source of all, who has the big picture while we still have the pixel, would best know how to get the ship to safe harbors all the way to the ultimate highest level of blissful paradise. And that is where we make a special decision to jump on the ship with Allah as our captain. Okay? And when we completely and totally, wholeheartedly surrender ourselves to the divine and his highest wisdom and guidance, then we have a chance to receive that highest protection, clarity, guidance that will take us there to our highest destination. So, when do you think Islam began in terms of the first human being? Who was the first Muslim human being? Any ideas?
Moses.
A lot of people think it's Muhammad.
Moses.
It was Adam, yes. The very first human being. Never was humanity left without guidance, right? So, therefore, and these people we call prophets and messengers, right? That were given the guidance to then share it with other people. And the people that would follow in their footsteps and learn from them. And try to embody their character, their manners, their way of how they were taught to live in peace and harmony and coexist with the whole. And so, to follow in the footsteps of another, in Arabic, the word is called sunnah. So you might have heard something like Sunni Muslim. It simply means following in the footsteps of the Prophet, okay? And so, throughout time came many prophets and messengers, right? But of course people come and they go, generations come and they go, and what do? They distort, they destroy, and they add and they subtract, and they do their own little editing, right? in the process. And so that's where we need constant refreshers. Okay? Just like we need constant refreshers in our own selves, right? So throughout time, when the messages would get distorted, another prophet would come and renew the message again. And the very consistent message was always the same one. Submission, surrender to the Almighty. Okay? And with humility. Humility is the keyhole to enter into that surrender. And one other very important element that is really important to be present in that total, complete surrender is actually in the meaning of the word Ahmed. Do you know what Ahmed means? Anybody? You might have heard the word Alhamdulillah. Do you know what that means? All thanks and praise to the Almighty. And Ahmed, notice it comes from the ha, from the chest, from the heart. That's where we feel gratitude. So Ahmed means praiseworthy. And you, again, remember in front of the Arabic word, it transforms it into the doer. So Ahmed, you get Muhammad, right? So Muhammad is one who's giving thanks and praise. And Muhammad was basically the seal of the prophets that came with the last and final revelation called the Quran. And Quran means simply recitation. And he came to teach us, like all the prophets and messengers, how to be grateful to the Almighty. What's the highest expression of gratitude that we can possibly show? Any ideas in this life? When you get a gift, what do? You thank the giver of that gift, right? You acknowledge the gift, and then you thank the giver for it. And so the highest expression is to acknowledge the gift, the gift giver, and then use the gift for the purpose that it was created for. So think about the blessing of our eyesight. What would you give? How much money would you pay just to be able to have that eyesight? If somebody told you today, sorry, your last day to see, well, how much money would you give? You can't even pay for it, right? So when we realize the gift of our eyesight, we want to use it for the purpose that it was created for, like any gift, right? So we want to use it to look at good things. We want to use the ears to listen to good things and not to listen to gossip and other things, right? That are going to affect our heart and our mind, right? And the thing with our speech, we want to use the ability to speak good things and eat good things, speak the truth. And then our heart, my goodness, what an amazing gift that is, right? We can't even put our finger on it, but we experience it all the time. The experience to love that comes from this beautiful place right inside our chest. And so the most important thing is using the ability to love and this very beautiful gift to love the Creator with it. And love the creation for the purpose of the Creator, not at the cost of the Creator. Because a lot of times we get caught up so distracted in loving the creation so much that we forget all about the one who gave us the ability to love and created the one that we love. So the best way we can truly love unconditionally and wholeheartedly is to love the creation for the sake of the Creator. So we'll be so much more kinder and loving and sharing, generous, right? In all the ways we can, and more forgiving, compromise where we need to, right? So throughout time, the prophets and messengers were given very amazing practices to teach to us the art of self-discipline and the art of how to harness our desires in the right direction, okay? And use it to always love the Creator with it. And it is through a process of purification. And the purification starts with the seed. The seed is our intention. That will determine what will grow out of it. It could become a weed, it's going to ravage all the good seeds out there and other plants, right? or it could become a tree that's going to bear lots of great fruits and benefit all the rest of the creation, right? So that's where we have to become very God conscious, and that in Islam is called taqwa. Okay? Have you heard the word taqwa, anybody? Yeah? So that means God consciousness, and the more that we come to remember our Almighty and have the special why, because I'm doing this because of the Creator, to serve the Creator, to honor the Creator by using these gifts for the purpose that the Creator gave it to me for. Or actually, even deeper, we realize that we don't even own anything. We don't even own ourselves. Whatever we give is not even ours to give. It's the Creator's to give. And we're actually privileged to be able to be used by the Divine for these gifts to flow through us, being a benefit for the rest of the creation. So our job is to ensure that we make this vessel as available as possible and as expansive as possible to reach its ultimate fullest potential, to allow for Allah's blessings to flow through us and be the benefit for all the rest of the creation. Okay? So that's where we can receive that expansiveness into our efforts through that intention. And intention is also not just followed, is not just remaining in the heart, but it needs to sprout. Okay? And it needs to be watered regularly with knowledge, with sincerity, constant seeking and learning and discovering. And that is actually, even if you read or watch a video with the intention to find the truth and align to it, that is considered worship. Okay? And that's considered being grateful as well, by using the gift of our intellect for that purpose. And any act that we start in the name of Allah. Any idea how you say that in Arabic? Anybody? Before we eat, before we drink, before we sleep. We can literally transform all 8 hours of sleep, if we're lucky to get that much, into worship by remembering the Almighty before we start the action through Bismillah, in the name of Allah. We're acknowledging the one that's giving that to us, and then that gets blessed as we do that. So everything we do it always with a Bismillah. Okay? So if we suddenly we're tempted to cheat and backbite and do all these things, would we do that with Bismillah? No, right? So this is where the remembrance and God consciousness comes in, and is so important to harness in every moment of our life. And so comes these very beautiful practices, such as, number 1, we have 5 pillars in Islam. The first pillar is, and have you guys learned anything about Islam to know what the first pillar is? Yes, the faith, right? The acknowledgement of the giver, right? Which is called the Shahada, the testimony of faith, which says, I bear witness there's no deity worthy of worship but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the last and final prophet and messenger of Allah, and in that token we acknowledge all the prophets and messengers that had come before. Okay, 25 are actually mentioned in the Quran by name, and 124,000 other prophets and messengers were not even mentioned by name, that had come throughout time, always delivering the same message. But it's the people that came in and did a little shenanigans with the message, right? So, this is a very important blessing. So, the second pillar, after we acknowledge that, make that acknowledgement, is the importance of worship, of prayer. So how do we ensure that we are on this boat, destined for the highest paradise destination? Is we need to show the Almighty, the captain, right, that we want to be on this ship. So how can we be on a ship if we want to be the crew on the ship? Gotta follow captain's orders, right? Otherwise you get booted off the ship and try to be, and then you could be your own captain. Oh my goodness, that could spell a lot of trouble. So when we realize, when we make that commitment to be on that boat, we do it the Almighty's way. So one thing that Allah has prescribed to us is to become God-centered. How do we do that? By revolving our whole entire day around our Creator. So we don't fit God into the equation, but we fit into His equation, right? And so we don't wake up for work, we don't wake up for school, we don't wake up for that good old breakfast and that coffee. We wake up for our Creator. And so when we go to bed with the intention that we want to get refreshed and wake up to worship the Creator, then that whole 8 hours is going to be even considered as worship as well. And then we wake up at the same time as the birds that call. In the dawn time, right? You hear always the birds chirping. The birds are worshiping Allah in their own way that they have been prescribed. So us humans, we've been prescribed a way where it's also very holistic. Everything from standing in all positions to bowing, like prostrating, putting the head all the way to the ground. We take the highest part of our head to the lowest part of the ground. You know what we're doing in that moment? We're smashing that ego, yeah? And we're doing a big refresh. You see? Ever see how good your phone starts up again when it's restarted? Everything starts functioning so much better, right? So when we do that refresh by putting the head on the ground, we're remembering our Almighty in total state of humility, in the position of humility, with our heart, our mind, our soul, our body present, all aspects holistically, completely present in front of our divine. Okay? And so in that token, we're always falling and we're rising. Like the tides, they rise and they fall. Everything has this rising and falling. So many times we make mistakes, so we fall down and we ask the Almighty for forgiveness, and we strive to get better as we rise up again the next time around, if we get that chance. So after that, so we do the prayers 5 times a day, beautifully, evenly distributed. Okay, so from the dawn to about the noontime, the afternoon, the sunset, and the night. Okay? And each time we are reciting in those prayers the words of the divine, which are the Quran that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the Arabic language. And Muhammad, peace be upon him, he didn't know how to read and write. He was unlettered. Did you know that? If he knew how to read and write, people would have said he wrote it. But one thing that amazed the people at the time, most amazing poets and linguists there, they knew how trustworthy he was. He never lied. He was always honorable, with the highest level of character. And suddenly he comes and he starts to speak this most incredible poetry. And a unique thing is that it's authored in first person, where actually Allah is the author, addressing the creation, teaching, and even talking to Muhammad and all the rest of us of how to live in peace and harmony with the whole, how to worship holistically on all the levels, how to deal with injustices and on all that stuff. So now, we have been through the example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as he had related also the previous prophets and messengers. He has taught us how to worship like that. And another element of worship is, the third pillar is, any ideas? Something we're doing in Ramadan. Fasting, yes. Fasting trains us to hold back our desires and not to be the slaves of our desires, right? Many times we're obsessed by certain things. We have little addictions that just creep up until they take right over. And then, boy, when we're busy holding on, guess what? We're no longer ready to receive anything because we're busy blocking. So we need to go always through this process of deeper letting go, total surrender, so that we can be receptive to receive the mercies, the blessings, the guidance, the clarity, the love that is being offered to us by our divine. So now, how do we fast? Any ideas? In Islam, we go by the lunar calendar versus the solar calendar. And one of the calendar months is called Ramadan. Okay? And in that month, for about 30 days, 29 to 30 days, we fast from the dawn to the sunset. Okay? And we abstain completely, not just from food and water and liquids. So it's a dry fast, it's like a full fast like that. We also abstain from obscene language, from all this stuff, more so, we're much more conscious. And from sexual activity during that daytime hours, right? But once the fast breaks, then you can eat once the sunset sets, till the dawn time again. But when we eat and when we fast the whole day, guess what happens? We try for a few days to stuff ourselves the first time, right? But after that, it becomes really hard to stuff ourselves because our stomach is like only half instead of 3 times the amount, right? So this is where we learn moderation. And moderation is a very important piece, and discipline. And that makes us stronger. So if an earthquake were to happen, God forbid, or some big calamity, we wouldn't be broken. We wouldn't be in panic. We wouldn't be screaming. We would be able to handle it. And the children, they start already from a young age to learn how to discipline and how to hone in. They don't have to fast the full day, but maybe half a day, you know? And they gradually build themselves up, so by the time they get adults, it's much easier for them to do it. And we also have consistent fasting throughout the year, which are optional, but recommended, called the Sunnah fastings on Mondays and Thursdays. And one of the things so there is exceptions, not for everybody has to fast. For example, if one is in old age and it's too difficult, or sick, or pregnant, or on the menses, etc., then there's expiation, where you would feed a poor person instead during that time that you're not able to fast. And so another part of Ramadan, which is very, very important, but also throughout the whole year, and that's another part of our pillars. This goes to the 3rd pillar. That is the fasting. The 4th pillar is charity, yes. In Islam, there's a few different types. This is kind of weird. Is there something wrong with the sound? Is it a battery? Sorry? Okay. Okay. Hello? Oh, much better. Okay, thank you. So, zakat. We give 2.5% of our extra earnings to the poor, the needy, to the people that are working in the way of God. There's different categories of those who receive the zakat. And if our own family is in need of it, we would give it to our own family, okay? That's 2.5% of extra earnings. So if you don't have that extra amount to spend, that you have lying around extra, then you would be the recipient of that, okay? So it's also Islam is very, very much honor-based. So there's no hierarchical system, there's no priest or pope or anything like that at the top, or some governing body ticking off if you've to calculate if it's actually 2.5% or who you're giving it to, or none of that. Or if you're fasting or if you're praying, none of that is there. It's really between us and our Creator. And that is that develops a personal honesty and God consciousness and taking on the responsibility for our own relationship and our own actions with our Almighty. And so so during Ramadan, you also find a lot of people extra giving, because there's also a very, very much increased multiple in reward during that period of time as well. Just to encourage much more. It's like, you could call the month of Ramadan like a boot camp, like a spiritual boot camp, where you just go the extra push, right, to do as much as possible. And one of the other things that we do in Ramadan that's very, very important is we need to read the whole Quran at least once, okay? With understanding, not just recite it without understanding. But one of the things that we need to do is we need to develop a relationship with the Quran actively, and then and bring it into action, okay, from whatever that we're learning from it. And so throughout the Ramadan month, we have these special prayers added to the 5 daily prayers that are again optional but recommended. They're called Tarawih prayers. So you'll see many of the masjids packed at midnight sometimes, you know, and they're all praying, and during those prayers, they are reciting the Quran through those prayers. And the Quran has 114 chapters, and is divided evenly also into 30 parts. Each part is called a juz. And so in each section, one juz is recited throughout one night. So that's 1/30 of the Quran. And the person leading the prayer is called Imam. And he usually has the whole Quran memorized when he's leading the Tarawih prayers. So if he makes a mistake, you can guarantee that people behind him will immediately correct him. And there's a lot of blessing and reward in memorizing the Quran. But we need to memorize it with the understanding. Allah says in the Quran, read with understanding, okay? And not just try to recite it automatically. And so consciously, am I good with time? Okay, consciously, we have to also, I've got that train of thought, but oh yes, do you know how the Quran is preserved? Any ideas? Do you know how many people have it memorized? Today, approximately. We're going to do a little test, okay? Put up your hand, just make some guesses, just quickly, okay? How many, what do you think? 2 people? Okay, any other guesses? Cover to cover, okay? 1,000, okay? Any other bits? How much? Oh, that would be amazing. That's not me. Yes? That would be like 1.5 billion people. A billion? A million? Okay. And your guess? 1? Oh, mashallah. Okay. 1 million or 1? Okay, 1. You want to make a guess too? What's your guess? 10,000? Okay, cool. Okay, let me help you out, okay? Are you ready? Over 200 million. And I personally know people myself. My friend's daughter just lives very close by here. I mean, my friend's mother. She memorized the Quran within a year. The whole Quran. Can you even imagine that? So it's recited in a poetic style as well. So it's actually quite not that difficult to memorize, believe it or not. Have you ever listened to the Quran recited in Arabic? Would you like to hear it? Yeah? So I'll recite to you the Al-Fatiha, okay? Which is the opening prayer, which we use in every prayer that we do, okay? We recite this one. And I'll first tell you the English translation, okay? So it goes, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, master of day judgment. Thee we worship and thine we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, whose portion is not wrath, who go not astray. Now, ready for the Arabic one? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. So that's one chapter. That's the first. That's called the opening. And you know what the opening is? This is so beautiful about Arabic. Oh my gosh. Just the sound of the words give an indication of the meaning of it. So when I say Al-Fatiha, what do you think that implies? Notice how my mouth is opening? Al-Fatiha. al-Fatihah, right? It actually means the opening. Okay? And I remember I was saying, Alhamdulillah, you feel it from your chest, right? Kufr, kufr. Notice how my mouth closes, it doesn't go enter past my lips. That means to cover, like the farmer that covers the seed with soil. So sometimes people fall into the trap of covering the truth, what they know, with soil, with distractions and all kinds of stuff, right? And so that means closed, right? To be closed, kufr, right? And notice how the sound sounds just like that, right? Isn't that amazing? I'll give you one more example so you can see the difference of how the different chapters of the Quran rhyme. This is another very short one. This is even shorter than the other one. And it goes like this. So it's got a different rhyme, okay? So it says, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, say, He is Allah, the eternal, the absolute. He begets not, nor is begotten, and there is none like unto Him. So nothing we can imagine or perceive is what Allah is. Okay? In Arabic, it goes like this. Ready? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwa ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. And that's it. So that's, notice how that has a rhyming element to it too? So when you have these, the whole Quran consisting of these incredible, beautiful, rhythmic recitation, when it rhymes, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? And now, as technology is developing more and more, they're discovering more incredible miraculousness about it. And when I discovered the Quran for the first time, I started to discover these miraculous elements about the Quran that actually gave me the proof of God. Without a doubt, that's where God actually became a reality versus just maybe an idea, a concept, confused concept I didn't know, you know? So one of the very interesting things, for example, is, we good? Okay. So one of the things is, for example, the ring composition miracle. If you divide the whole Quran in half, for example, the middle word of the second chapter is the middle. And then you have a mirror version where thematically the verses before and after are about the same theme, and then verses all the way from the beginning and the end. Or and then you have a ring within a ring. And there's another element about it, for example, if they put the computer system, the Quran through the computer system, and they found, for example, man and woman is mentioned 23 times each in the whole Quran. And we have 23 chromosomes from mother, 23 from our father. Land and sea comes the same ratio as land and sea on earth. Heaven and hell same amount of times. Angel, devil, same amount of times. Night and day same amount of times. All these word correlations are found in the Quran in a very perfect way, with not one letter being changed, word for word, letter to letter, the same as it was written 1400 years ago to Prophet Muhammad. In 610 was the first revelation, and it happened over a period of 23 years. So the time I know is very limited. So I invite you all to at least hop onto my website that I personally put together that has a lot of these things that had the most impact on me. Starting with the cherry pick section, that's the first one. There's an 11-minute video there in the introduction part, the very first one. And that goes into some of these miraculous aspects that you can check out that I don't have time to explain all the details of, but you will be blown away, okay? And it's part of a 7-part playlist. Definitely have a look at it, and if you like that, you'll like all the other stuff. So I invite you guys to also reach out to the Muslim communities and join them sometimes during the iftars. You know, we break fast with us, because it's, breaking fast isn't just for the ones that are fasting. We're inviting all the people to come and join with us, to break fast with us, and just be part of that community social gathering, because the whole purpose of Ramadan is to unite our humanity in peace and harmony, you know, to have those conversations. and to have those connections with each other where we can truly learn how to better build these bridges and meet on our commonalities and those things that will truly unite us and not divide us. So thank you so much for having me here tonight, and today, morning, oh my gosh, it is actually my night, I didn't sleep much, so. But thank you very much. Is there any questions or anything else? Thank you so much. Take care.
So much. I was just gonna say, Alaikum salam, is that the response, right?
Yes, yes. So it's like a mirror version, right? Salam alaikum. Wa is an and. Alaikum salam, like a mirror version, right?
When you say salam alaikum, we say alaikum salam.
Yes, yes. Wa alaikum salam, yes. Or alaikum salam works good too, yes.
I just want to say thank you so much for your talk. It was so inspirational, and also I think we all heard the echoes of the teachings that we have been, the surrender to God, the egoless way we should move throughout the world, the way we should devote all our actions towards God, and let the God purify us through our actions and our intentions. So I was taking notes, and it was really inspirational. Thank you so much for coming and helping us. I would just dedicate you a small token of our appreciation.
Thank you so much. Yes, yes.
ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे Thank you. विचित्रं लीलाविभूतिं परमार्थ इष्टार्थ मोक्षप्रदानं भावाविभूतिं idamaश्रयामि. Sacred, holy and supreme is Baba's vibhuti, pouring forth in endless stream His way of vibhuti. So auspicious is His mind, it grants liberation. Baba's vibhuti, His power protects me. Sai Baba's vibhuti, His power protects me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee.
समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Just a few quick announcements. So we ask everyone join us downstairs for the meals to go seva that will be happening in the dining area. All the parents as well, please join downstairs depending on the number of people that are available. There may or may not be a parent meeting. At 12:30, we will be having the SSC Aradhana song practice from 12:30 to 1 p.m. So all the kids participating in the song, please stay back for practice. This coming Thursday, April 11th, we will be celebrating Ugadi from 7:30 to 8:30. Please join us if you are available on that day. The following Sunday, next Sunday, April 14th, we will be celebrating Ram Navami at 10 a.m. And the Sunday following, we will be having Hanuman and Mahavir Jayanti. For Aradhana Mahotsavam, we will be having two programs for Aradhana. On Wednesday, April 24th, we will be having Aradhana Day Bhajans. And on Sunday, April 28th, we will be having Aradhana program from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. with musical offerings and a panel discussion. We will share more information about this soon. These are all the announcements for today. Please have a blissful week filled with Swami's love and blessings. Jai Sai Ram.
Also, we have a Quran for anybody who would like one. There's a translation in English. It's in the office. So you're most welcome to take a copy.
Thank you so much.
Okay? And some nice brochures about the purpose of life. It's really, really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Please do help yourself to it. Thank you for having me. Oh yeah, the fifth pillar. I didn't get to that. Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. And that was that's the place of Kaaba. And then they look like Abraham is like Islam. And going there, then it's Kaaba. And I have I think that was so nice. I covered everything. Thank you so much.
Nice seeing you.
We're actually covering
Right on, sir. How you doing? Back, which is good.
No, could make it.
Make it.
Where did you come from so quick?
6, 7-year-olds.
One right by one left.
Oh. Today the topic is it is okay for you then please come and join with us. I would love to. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can
Good.
Yeah, you're looking good. Thank you.
I know my brother, Kelly. You met him? Yeah, last week. But
He's paving the way for
well, actually, he suffered from kidney, but he died of a heart in how do you call it, St. Paul's. Yeah.
okay.
Such is life.
Well,
He was 80, he lived a good life. Children grew up, everything else. Yes, sir. Very good. Very good. Yep, the girl who did the...
Oh,